And time to spoil a movie.
Yes, time to explain like
All
what
right.
the Makoto
Makoto Shinkai
Shinkai's
Extended Universe.
yeah. Or like this how do you this is the great conclusion to the end of the trilogy. At least like I saw it as a trilogy with Garden of Words, Your Name, and now Weathering with You, because like all of them have like characters like interconnected, like but like Weathering with You, like okay, we kind of had the teacher in Garden of Words, so let's just put all the main some of the main characters as cameos, and, like let's have them have conversations in this movie, and like I literally just
Wait,
jumped.
was someone from Garden of Words in Weathering with You?
No, he like the teacher was in Your Name.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, how have I not noticed that? Dang it.
Like that's what
That's
made me think
awesome.
like is whether like before I saw Weathering with You, like I realized the teacher was in Your Name, and I was thinking, is Weathering with You going to have characters like
Just
interconnect?
yes, yeah. So I guess we'll get to that part first because that's like the biggest. So like, okay, I walked out of this movie being like, okay, I guess we have to talk. Similar to, I know the films aren't the same at all, but like Solo, a
No.
Star Wars story. Before going into that, I was like, why are people making like spoiler discussions about this? And it's because, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Solo, but I'm sure if you haven't, you don't care. Darth Maul's in the movie, and this had the
Oh yeah,
exact same thing,
yeah.
where it's like me. Mitsuha and Taki are both in the movie. And
Like
look, I'm
and
not gonna
like
lie.
not only are they in the movie, like Taki has a little conversation with Hodoka, like they just like what the hell?
Yeah, no, they have a decent conversation with the two of them. But the one thing I'll throw out that was awesome for me was that the environment of the theater and the fact that there were teenage girls behind me that I'm sure were like came here because of Your Name and were really hyped because of Your Name. Literally, like verbally, like when when he showed up, and I thought that was hilarious, in like such a fun way because I was like, "That is Taki!" Like, oh my gosh! And I knew when the ring was when he was going to buy the ring, I was like, "Oh, it's for sure going down again," and it did. And
Oh my God.
it's
But
fan
now it's
service, but in the best way possible.
like
Like
yes,
I don't
it's fan
care.
service done right. Like it's not like,
Yeah,
hey, you have to see the other movie to understand what the hell's going
it
on.
doesn't even matter. Yeah, exactly. It's.
You can watch this movie and not know what the hell's going on, but like and
I
you'll
mean, you might
still
be a little confused why teenage girls are gasping in your theater.
Oh my God.
No, but I really love how it was told too. The story, that it does that thing where it shows you something that you'll learn later in the story.
Like
Um,
yeah, especially like that one joke, like with the boobs. I was thinking that was kind of
oh
funny.
yeah,
And then like as they're in the hotel, like it comes back in a more dramatic way.
for sure. The thing that I was gonna say, the little twist that he does is the the girl that like we don't know why she's staying at that. I need to look at these characters. Who's the guy that takes him in?
Like
Oh,
the
Shuga.
detective, like or
Yeah,
just like
Shuga.
the random detective, like as he picks up Hodoka, like because before that Hina is like as they meet, Hina explains like she's like 18 and like she's kind of like on her own, and then in the detective she's like, yeah, she's like 16 years old, she's like near your age.
Yeah, she was actually 15, so she was even younger. That's why he like
Oh wait,
breaks,
oh yeah,
which I thought was really good. But
yeah,
no, I was gonna mention with Kiksuke, Shuga, the guy that ends up taking him in. The thing that I thought was so funny is Natsumi, like she's there and she's like, "Oh, it's what you think it is," like sort of joking, and you're like, "Oh, okay, so these guys are like boyfriend girlfriend, I guess, whatever." Like you're in the same mindset as the character, and then like later things are happening, and they're like, "Oh, isn't she gonna be mad that he has a kid?" And she like it's just funny the way he does that and like adds information over and over. I think is a really interesting thing. Also, another thing that like really cemented this as something that like was important. uh I actually think the moments like with the gun are powerful,
like
but
yes,
it doesn't.
I was gonna mention like how like every time a gun shot was like given it felt so impactful because I feel like
It had
I
so
think this
much
is
weight to it,
I think
yeah.
this is the first time we're having like real weapons in a Shinkai film.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to mention at first. And one thing I got worried about is at the start of this film, there's like a poster that or a billboard that says because it's the news and it's like, oh, 10 guns are missing in a police report of gangsters doing this. And I was worried we were going to have a whole B plot of that. But we never did. Like
Yeah,
it never
thank
focuses
God.
on that. The detectives don't even get that much screen time. Uh, like they're just the guys constantly chasing our protagonist. And I
Like
don't know,
yeah,
it just does things really interesting.
yeah, especially like when like our main characters are on the run. Like I kind of like that aspect, like how it's like rainy, and then we get to like the big moment that I say in my spoiler review where Hina freaking goes full on Ray Palpatine and like shoots lightning at the truck. Spoilers for Rise of Skywalker.
No, you're fine. I actually thought that was really cool. I thought it really paired back to the gun scene a little bit. Just because like it was, I don't know, like she was trying to get out of that situation similar to Hodaka like in the opening thing. And the only thing, even I don't know, this is one of those things where like I don't know if you felt this, but Shinkai like makes a world. He doesn't delve into every crack of it, and it almost makes me like want to explore it more, if that makes sense. So like what like I don't think it would have worked in the film. I just mean if there was like a companion like long story that was just like the lore of Weathering with You. Even your name to a certain extent, like I'd probably
Like,
do the
well,
same
not
thing.
yeah, it's a universe now. Like, I mean,
Of
speaking of
course, of course.
which brings me like to a concern I had at the end. It was like, wait, like did Taki and Mitsuo possibly die because of the flood? Maybe.
Well, see, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, because then we get to the
I'm
ending, and like
sure
that's
they moved, but they don't mention in your name that Tokyo was flooded for 3 years. Yeah, no, it has some problems, I guess, if you think about it as a shared universe. But I'm sure
like
Mikoto Shinkai can figure it out.
yeah, it's kind of like that's only I think the only issue I have with it is like the ending, or like I think if you think about it and like the implications of the world, you're just gonna be like, well, you guys are kind of dicks, so like why the hell did you do that?
Also, just making sure because it's hinted at it a whole lot. Kitsuke, his wife was also um a sun god or whatever they're called. I forget what the name they
The weather like
the weather girl. Yeah, whatever the name was, it was his wife.
I
The
never
only reason I ask is he kept going back to that ring similar to Hodaka. Um, and I don't know, for whatever reason, like that kept sticking in my head. I was like, why is he like constantly looking at the ring? And like he even there's so many times where like he even says like, oh well, if one person has to leave for the weather to be good, like I would be fine with that. And he says it in like such a cynical way that it's almost like he's experienced this, if that makes sense. And obviously like his I think it's his sister even says like, oh hey, like you kids are like a lot like each other. um
oh yeah,
I
I
don't
like
know.
that I love that scene.
Yeah, and I just because the reason I asked that is because the whole time that you're initially seeing him like sort of hold Hodaka away from like achieving his goals and saving, Hina, um it doesn't hit him. He's like, no, this sacrifice like needs to be made. And he sounds like someone of experience, and then he just sees that same passion in him. And he's like, no way am I letting anyone stop this kid. And I get like, yeah, maybe some people are like, hey, that's a little tropey. I don't care. It looks awesome. Like
Like yeah, I love the ending where it's like I think it's like the first time like in a Shinkai film where I was like thinking to myself, holy shit, people could actually die.
yeah, I was also wondering that too. I was a little bit
Like
worried.
when they get beat the shit out of by the agent.
Oh man, Hodaka was he got it rough. several times in this movie. Um, but no, the thing that I was gonna throw out is him going to the sky world, I thought was breathtaking, like the most beautiful thing I've
Like, yeah,
seen out of Shinkai. And like
and
that's
then
literally topping the mountain scene in your name. Like
like
Shinkai
yeah, or
will
the
not be topped.
intro. I
Or
think
the
the
intro,
intro.
right?
Yeah, like oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's just so beautiful. And he does the stuff, he doesn't focus on the stuff with like dragons and everything, but like you see it in the background. That's what I mean. Like I want to dig in. This is like similar to, I know a lot of people do this with Game of Thrones where they read the books and then get the extended lore and all this stuff. I want this with Shinkai's works now.
It's like oh my god. Like what would like how would you go about explaining this? It's like what it's like this is like feels like heaven or something like that. Is this kind of like a
Yeah, yeah.
heavenly place?
Well, it's interesting too because they say it happens like around the world. So I was wondering when she wasn't sacrificed, I was like, oh, what's going to happen to the whole world? Because they said it's just different countries, and it was only Japan that was getting the major blunt of the bad weather. Another thing I wanted to mention, the Nagisa, the little brother,
Like yeah,
Kahina.
easily the best character.
Yeah, like off the bat, I was like, oh, okay, little player boy, like he's gonna be the
I
best.
I love especially at the end where he just comes out and like tries like to get to the battle with the agents.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, okay, well, I think it's gonna be the girl in the motorbike, and then it's just him in the dress. And I love that the girl, like one of the girls that comes and helps him, is like, you need to stop like talking to your exes or something like that. And they're like
Oh,
10 years old. And the fact that Hodaka calls him senpai, like because he has this quote unquote vast
like
wisdom about girls.
wisdom.
Oh man, yeah, this movie's really funny. Like, but your
Like
name is
yeah,
also funny.
like I actually think I like the humor more in this one, honestly.
I would actually agree with that. I I think I sort of understand why people compare them. And it's almost led to a counter movement of I was reading through a couple of reviews on IMDb after I saw the movie because I needed to talk to someone. And a bunch of people started their reviews that was like, Weathering with You is not your name. And it's like, okay, yeah.
Oh my god.
Calm down. And
Stop comparing them.
yeah, I understand. But like I was like, isn't it? But what was funny is two different sides being like, you shouldn't compare it to your name, and then, the other side that we know that's like, oh, your name's way better. And it's like, wait, y'all are using the same tagline for
Like,
way different premises. I don't know.
it's,
I just feel like it's
it's
an
like
interesting movie
yeah, this is
that's
like even
divided people a
I
little
feel like this like criticism is even dumber than the one for The Force Awakens because at least you could say like yeah, it's a franchise and like yeah, like they kind of like do it and like that kind of went overboard. But for this, it's like this is not even trying to set up a universe.
bit.
This is trying
Yeah.
to tell its own story. So why the hell are you just comparing it? That would be like, Tarantino like it'd be like, well, like it's no Pulp Fiction, but like
Yeah.
for like Kill
For Jackie
Bill,
Brown. I'm sure some people probably said that for Jackie Brown, unfortunately.
or like the
Jackie Brown
same for like
probably got a similar treatment.
or like the same for any other director, like
But it would be this, yeah, it would be like if Tarantino, like, I'm trying to think of another thing, but when he's trying to like include the lore of his movie, it would be like being mad. It's like, oh, fan service, and it's like, what?
But then again, like Tarantino does like all that stupid stuff. Like he once said, "I want to make a Godzilla film where he's worshipped as our god," and he just never does it.
You
Like he does
should
all like he
give us it, give me.
like that would be
Oh
awesome, but
man,
I don't feel like it's gonna happen. He just like he's just the one that just says random stuff, like because like it's ideas, but they most of them never come to
yeah.
fruition.
I want to do Star Trek. No, but back
Okay, that's I got
on Weathering with You.
like yeah, I
My
don't want to
friend,
talk about the garbage.
my friend Desorian has seen Weathering with You 8 times.
What?
He loves it, which I'm really glad. I can't wait because he messaged me. He was like, "Hey, are you gonna see Weathering with You?" And I was like, I'm probably gonna wait till the theater. I'm sorry, bud. Um, but yeah, no, 8 times is awesome. I'm gonna message him right now. That's cool. Do you have any other spoiler things to do? I,
Like
actually, the one thing I'll say is the whole her body's disappearing. I feel
like
like is a
yeah.
really cool way to tie in the fantasy world and like make stakes. And I think her like going into the sky is inherently like when she's falling, it's inherently like a cool thing. Um, just as like minor spoiler things. I don't know if you have other stuff, Esteban.
Well, like I think probably like the thing I want to talk about is like the ending, like because like thinking what it could mean, like because like now Tokyo's flooded, but like after 3 years, but at least we finally get to see the two characters finally come back together, and I'm
For
thinking
sure.
as well as going to be all over again. The next movie is just they're gonna show up or something.
I hope. I don't I want that. For anybody complaining, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but that's what I want. I want to be it was so good that reveal. Oh,
Like
I
yeah, it
don't
was
think it
such a
would have
great scene.
you'd have to do something a little more you'd have to do something different. Cuz the your name one like your name going to weathering with you, so many people saw your name that like those two characters and like he knew it would create this moment and like he does it so well. And I don't know if weathering with you can garner the same amount. So
I mean, it's
I think it would be
already
cool if it was in a decent amount of the future, if that makes sense. And then
like
they're
yeah,
like older, so you're not
yeah,
sure maybe.
yeah. And now I'm just
Also
thinking
maybe even Nagisa, her brother, like
like
maybe we
a
get him.
grown up.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh
now has
man.
he has now have a samurai sword.
Mm, yes.
Yeah.
Makoto Shinkai presents Seven Samurai. Let's go.
Oh god.
Um,
It's been thinking and wondering, like, which makes me think after watching it, what could he possibly do next? Because I felt like Your Name was kind of the result of like a four movie like build up to that. And now
I would
Weathering
agree
with
with
You, it
that.
seems
And
like it's like the new era. So
I
it's like the only thing that
I'm
could
very
happen.
curious what he does next because I don't know. This is again like my biggest thing walking away from this is like I feel like Makoto Shinkai like this is out of all his films, if he loves one of his worlds the most, I feel like it is Weathering with You because I feel like Makoto Shinkai. I need to like do a little bit more digging on this, but I feel like Makoto Shinkai really loves the weather. But yeah, no, I think that wraps it up for our spoiler talk.
Like
Um,
it's
we both really like
amazing.
the film. Yeah, no, check it
It's
out.
amazing. It's
I,
flaw. It
I
has
don't know.
flaws,
Actually,
but it's still amazing
check
regardless of its flaws.
for sure. Yeah, check it out in theaters again if you can.
I'll see
Um,
it like 10 times.
I'm probably gonna see it again because January is not a good month for
It's
movies.
hard. Like
So I'm
yeah.
thankful. I'm thankful that Weathering with You. I mean, I still would have seen it regardless. But I'm thankful Weathering with You wasn't like shoved into the award season movies, even though it should be nominated for.
No, it was put into the award season, but it didn't make it into the final list.
Yeah, I just mean sorry. I mean like anime has always been a weird thing for the Academy, mostly because they have different U.S. release dates. So even though Weathering with You came out, I don't know. I just think there's like people. It's people not pushing as hard for awards because they don't really care about Oscars. But like Your Name, Weathering with You, even something like Girl Who Leapt Through Time. I just feel I just wish the Academy would nominate him. But that's going to be our spoiler review. So thank you guys. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching it on our podcast, bye. Dang, we should start a car shop with all these spoilers. Anyway, if you want to check out other spoiler discussions, there's a lot of really fun ones that are in the box down below. Also, you can check out plenty of our other videos as well. Thank you for listening. Bye.